Why you do not think that guns are the problem?
Why is this just an American problem?
Well, it is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why is this country?
Why is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest country on earth.
It may be the freest, it may be the most popular.
That was Ted Cruz. It's rare that he gets confronted by journalists who ask tough questions, but as you can see, he was running away because it's difficult to answer questions that call out the fecklessness and the greed and the selfishness of our elected lawmakers. By the way, Ted Cruz enjoying his Memorial Day weekend as the family members of the 19 children who were gunned down in Uvalde, Texas, are currently grieving. 2 teachers were also gunned down in that mass shooting as well. Now, before we look at the rest of that exchange, I wanna really emphasize the disconnect between what you just saw and how the American people really feel about gun laws in this country. So this is a new poll that was done by Morning Consult and Politico, and they found that 73% of Americans strongly support requiring background checks on all gun sales, and another 15% somewhat support the measure. So I mean, look, we live in a country that is deeply divided on almost every culture-related issue. This is a culture-related issue, and there isn't much disagreement. Background checks, the bare minimum. There is widespread agreement. Let's give you more. 53% strongly support an assault weapons ban, meaning the majority of Americans support an assault weapons ban, while another 14% somewhat support such a law. Just 25% either strongly or somewhat oppose a ban on assault weapons. And also the survey showed near universal support for the prevention of gun sales to people who have been reported as dangerous to law enforcement by a mental health provider. In all, 84% either strongly or somewhat back that restriction. And it doesn't matter because Ted Cruz, he's not interested in representing them. He's interested in representing the people who fatten up his disgusting pockets. Let's watch.
There are 19 sets of parents who are never gonna get to kiss their child goodnight again.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
You know, it's easy to go to politics.
But it's important, it's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not, it's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people.
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily. 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop violent crime, the proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
Well, it is just an American problem, sir.
Now, of course, he runs away because those are tough questions to answer, and there's that disconnect, Cenk. The reality and then what his donors want him to do and say. So
our entire mainstream media is set up to protect the powerful. So the minute you see an international reporter, it breaks the illusion. You're like, wait, why doesn't a single reporter in America ask perfectly logical questions in a way that challenges politicians? That's what reporters are supposed to do. Challenge politicians on all sides with tough questions. And by the way, this is not even that tough. It's the most elementary question. No other country has gun violence like this. No other country allows the massacre of their children. None, zero. We're the only ones that do. So it's like the most obvious question in the world. And he's like, how dare you ask that question? Because it is his assumption that the media is supposed to help him, not challenge him.
Exactly.
And to be fair to Ted Cruz, he's right. Every reporter in America just gives him what helps him. They do propaganda on his behalf. When we say things like, hey, They're monsters for taking money from the gun lobby. Reporters jump in, media jumps in, hey, you're not allowed to talk about money in politics. Oh, and they ridiculously say, oh, that's just a process thing, no one cares. Seems like a lot of people care. A lot of people care, except reporters in America. None of them are reporters. They're all just marketing flags for corporate rule. Okay, so now let me talk about the absurdity of what we have here. So no other country allows you to buy assault rifles. Not only do we allow children to buy it. So he could buy it at the age of 18, but he cannot buy a beer at the age of 18. He has to wait till he's 21. You know that you can't rent a car in America unless you're 26, but you could buy an AR-15 and murder 19 kids. How does that make any sense at all? It does actually, you know why? Because the car rental agencies just have realized that they make less money because of the accidents that people under 26 cause. So they tell politicians, do not allow them to rent our cars because it would cost us a nickel. Go dogs, fetch. And they go, like Ted Cruz does, and then he goes and fetches. And they say, but the gun manufacturers make more money if we allow anyone to buy guns, including really young children, because then everybody gets worried and they buy guns. So hey, Ted Cruz, go and tell them a car is too dangerous for a 25-year-old, but an AR-15 is perfectly safe for an 18-year-old. And he does as he is told. You wanna know how much money Ted Cruz took from the gun lobby? $442,000.
Yep, we have a graphic showing that he is the top recipient of donations from the gun lobby. So there it is, he's at the top of the list with $442,000. Then you have Steve Scalise coming in at number 2, $396,000. And the list goes on and on. John Cornyn, $340,000. No, look, in a neoliberal system, the government does work. It works on behalf of corporate interests. Profits over people, profits over people, profits over people, profits over people. It's the case that Cenk laid out perfectly when it comes to why there's an age requirement for being able to rent a car. It has to do with profit. And that's certainly the case when it comes to this insane weaponry, including assault weapons. But no, look, I've been told, Cenk, that young kids, especially young kids living in rural parts of the country, they need guns because they go hunting with their dad, right? So they need an AR-15. They need high capacity magazines because if you come across that deer, you want to make sure you use an assault weapon for it, right? Yeah. And you want to make sure you got that high capacity magazine. Are you guys not tired of being lied to over and over again? And are you not sick to your stomach about the fact that the NRA didn't even have the decency, didn't even care to at least postpone their conference in Texas? They're still gonna have their conference this weekend in Houston.
Right now, Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump are set to attend. You know why? Because they gotta go collect checks. So now let me tell you about the checks. In the last couple of decades, they have spent $190 million on lobbying, the gun lobby. Now, people who are against guns, in favor of gun control, are also spending money, but it's just their own money. They don't make profit off of it because they're not gun manufacturers. So they only spent $30 million. So they were massively outspent because every dollar that the gun manufacturers put into the pockets of people like Ted Cruz, they make $2 or $3 back. So it's a good return on investment to buy a soulless coward like Ted Cruz. He'll do anything for money. I mean, you could even insult his wife. They probably do. They probably call his wife ugly and say, now, bitch, go out there and do as we tell you. And Ted Cruz probably does it. Now, you don't know that because mainstream media reporters are corrupt and the worst people on earth as they aid and abet the system. You notice how Steve Scalise is number 2 on that list? Why did they give him so much money? He's not even a senator. That's because he was shot. So it's good propaganda to wheel out a politician who was shot and go, oh, even though I was shot and I almost died, I still love guns. Did I get the money? Did I do my job right? They have no souls. Politicians, especially Republicans, are the most immoral people in the country. Flat out, it's not hyperbole. They're the most evil, immoral people in the country. Why won't you cover $50 million directly into their campaigns? $50 million since 1989 from the gun lobby.
Yep.
And hey, did the mainstream press ever report that? Did they tell you all the time? Hey, these sons of bitches take money from the gun lobby? No, they said nobody's interested. Shut up, you propagandists. You're all liars. All right, last thing. if it's true that, and it is true, that 88% of Americans want federal background checks and 67% want to ban assault rifles, and there is a 0% chance that either of that is going to pass Congress, do we actually live in a democracy?
No, we do not live in a democracy. Do not make the mistake of regurgitating the BS we were fed in our history classes in middle school and high school. We don't live in a democracy. We didn't live in a democracy then, and it's only deteriorated further in recent years. It's not a democracy when we're governed by corporate rule. When our voices, our votes, all of that stuff doesn't even matter. Sure, you might do all the groundwork, you might do all the canvassing, you might succeed in electing the people you like into office, but they will abandon you, as we have seen happen time and time again. We don't live in a democracy because we have a virus that's built into the system. Legalized bribery, corruption, it's part of the system. And at this point, by the way, I mean, we're focusing on Congress and they deserve the ire that's directed toward them right now. But let me also just note, even if miraculously Congress succeeds in passing the legislation we need, common sense gun reform, you know what the Supreme Court's gonna do? Supreme Court will strike it down. I mean, I've said this before, I'll say it again. As we speak, the Supreme Court is working on expanding gun rights in the country. And rights is a weird way of putting it, gun access. So if you live in a state that doesn't allow concealed carry, get ready, because the Supreme Court is about to allow concealed carry everywhere in the country.
And Texas right now is deregulating guns, making it easier to access guns.
You don't need a permit.
Yeah, because you know why? Not enough kids have been murdered to appease Greg Abbott. Look, Greg Abbott and Ted Cruz might as well have been there helping the shooter. They couldn't have helped him any more than loosening gun restrictions, which allowed him to buy that weapon of mass destruction and kill all of our kids. And they did it for money. How could none of the reporters at the national level report that? It's sickening. But to be fair to the Republicans, they are broken up about it. So I'll give you one last quote from Charlie Kirk, who he said about the shooting, it almost like ruins your day. Oh, it almost ruins your day. These people are actually evil. They're the height of immorality. You should know that about the right wing and Republicans, and we shouldn't mince words. They're getting our kids killed. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.